I'm Boston Tommy. Welcome to Inside the Box.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle.
Hey, Sharky. Thanks for tuning
I
in.
just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
Okay, that was a song by a young man by the name of Kedron Bryant that just got a record deal today. I just thought it was a very powerful song written by his mom, about being young and black in America. So it kind of moved me, and I did that because today is Juneteenth, people. Happy Juneteenth. Anybody else celebrating it beside myself out there? I want to talk about that a little bit. My question today to you will be, should it be a national holiday or not? Tune in, let me know. Let me know what you feel about that. Statues continue to fall across America. George Washington went down in Portland last night. Terrible. Trying to erase history, it just doesn't work. Raymond Stone, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you, bro. North Face, the company North Face, the clothing company. I guess they're pulling their ads from Facebook until they censor conservatives. So, if you don't stop those conservatives from talking, we're not going to spend our money on advertising. But a power play here with an actual corporation trying to dictate what is allowed to be said in terms of free speech. This is a big deal. Okay? Shalky Morgan, I'm driving tomorrow to Salt Lake City. We'll attend a special, service? What's that say? Attend a special... What are you attending, bro, at Salt Lake? Because, of course, Father's Day is around the corner. I can see people making plans for that. You guys, tell me what you want to do. Today's Fantastic Friday. I do want to talk a little bit about Juneteenth, though, a little bit of history and kind of how I feel about it. And but in the meantime, you can tell me what you're going to be doing this weekend for Father's Day. That's always fun on a Friday. There's also, what's up, bro? Raymond Stone is also a judge blocked the Democrats' attempt to stop Trump from having his rally because, all of a sudden the COVID is running rampant over there in Oklahoma, right? In Tulsa. It's unbelievable. Talk about politics is just destroy and ruin everything, especially the damn Dems. They're horrible. It's terrible is what it is. It's horrible out there. Okay. Before we get into me, we can talk a little bit more about you guys, what you like to do. Hi, babe.
Hi.
My producer is home from work. She looks like she's moving kind of slow. She has a bad hip. Joe Galvin, thanks for tuning in. Brenda Little, thanks for tuning in. How you doing up there? Happy anniversary late. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I do. Laura and I both thank you all for your anniversary wishes. It's very nice, very thoughtful. We always appreciate that. So I had a choice today than just playing that opening by the young man, but I thought I thought that could make a nice new black anthem. Let's just go ahead. Let's just talk about Juneteenth. Does everybody know what Juneteenth is? I just saw a post from, here he is, Zach Terbolini. I'm glad you're watching, bro, because I'm about to school you on Juneteenth. Now, and I have to admit this, I've known about Juneteenth for several years, but I have never really been religiously celebrating it like I should. Let's see, Coptic service with some Egyptian families from Idaho and Utah. Fantastic, Shalky. I hope you have a great weekend doing that, bro. Get together with your friends, have a beautiful service, and a fabulous Father's Day. What's up, Zach? Good to see you. Rick Levin, how you doing, bro? So sorry to hear about having to put your dog down. That's terrible, man. That's painful. That's hurtful. Michelle Earl up in Garden Valley, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I've had one dog since I've lived here. He was a fabulous dog. He lived for 15 years. His name was Cyrus. We used to call him Cyrus the Virus, right? Half lab, half pit. Good dog, smart dog. Loved him, man. He lived hard and strong. In the end, he lived. He never had incontinence or anything. I don't know how he did it, but he was skinny and fragile and maybe had some cancers. I don't know at the end, but he lived all the way up until he just fell asleep and died in my living room. I did not have to make that decision. I feel bad for you, bro. I'm so sorry. my condolences for you. Jackie Carey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Okay, Juneteenth. Okay, I do not know right now why this isn't already a fucking national holiday. Matter of fact, outside of our independence as a nation from the British, I can't think of another day with more importance to our history and who we are as Americans as the day that the slaves were freed. Now, little history on Juneteenth. I got some here. We'll see right here. Facts you might not know about Juneteenth. Let me pull that up. Because, I've been studying it today and just kind of learning some more about it. This isn't for virtue signaling. I got a strong feeling about this. Needs to be made into a fucking national holiday immediately. Today wouldn't be too soon if they had the balls to get anything done in Washington. I hope the president mentions it tomorrow. He has a chance to do the right thing, and he should. Candy Running, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. So, what happened with Juneteenth is that the Emancipation Proclamation had already been read by Lincoln. The war was over. We freed the slaves. Emancipation Proclamation had been read to the country. But back then, they didn't have social media, right? Okay? Things took time, but this took more time than it should have. One of the things you don't know. You're talking about it was 2.5 years after. I don't remember learning that in history either. No, baby, because they didn't teach it. So you wonder when they talk about institutionalized racism, why wasn't this taught? This is beyond good race relations. To me, this is what makes America great. We were, at the time, you realize that slavery was legal in many countries on earth at the time? Yeah, this is not that long ago either, by the way, people. This is like 155 years ago. When I think about that, I think, God, that's not that long ago, really. It's not. That's a few generations of black America. So I can understand why they're still feeling the pain. Everything moves slower than we like. Kylie Keenan, good to see you. Tim Hicks, Charles Roll, Elmo Lueno tuning in. Caroline Stennon's down there in Florida. How are you? Good to see you, baby. Thanks for tuning in. So there were 250,000 people in Texas that were still slaves 2.5 years after they'd been freed. And so a general, let's see, do they have his name in here? Gordon Granger, he was a Union general, rode into Galveston, Texas, and announced that the people were free. Think about this moment in time. And I really wasn't until maybe, I think it was December 6th, the same year. This was 1865? 1863 was the proclamation of Emancipation Proclamation. 1865 is when this went down. But it was that same year, I think in December, when the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, okay? But, this was so bad. There were so many theories. Let's see. Why did it take so long? Well, probably because there was still so much racism. Nobody wanted to get that message across. You didn't want the people to know. But believe it. And then actually, after that happened, they actually tried to urge the slaves to stay with the former owners as employees, but they had to be paid because they were free now. And of course, you can imagine a lot of black folks are like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here. And then came what they call the scatter. When black people, this shit happened so fast, they didn't barely get the shit coming out of the general's mouth that they were free and then people were gone. Can you blame them? But anyways, to me, the best fabric of America is the fact that we as a nation, and at the time ruled by white people, and many of them still owned slaves, because it was legal, I guess, that's no excuse, but I'm just saying, at the time, there were white men, who decided, you know what, this shit is not right. We're going to put a stop to this shit. And black people are going to be free. And we did it. God bless America. Why wouldn't we? We're all the better off for it. Come on now. Aaron Gates, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said, to me, I can't think of a more powerful day in history, really. Outside of our, freeing ourselves as a nation, a birth of a nation, that we should be celebrating like the 4th of July, Juneteenth. Freedom Day, they call it. I like that. I call it Freedom Day is even better name, but we can haggle over the name. It's not even what I want. I suppose you could just ask black Americans, but I think it's a great day for white Americans as well. It's just a great day for America. All right, here. Elmo, let's see. Serious question. In discussion with a coworker, He informed me of a video that showed Trump, pre-running for president, stating he could become president by simply telling Americans he would make America great again. Anyone seen this video? No. But it's a great slogan. That's nothing wrong with that. Look what the Democrats have done to every major city across the United States right now. It's getting even worse. Ira Rutledge, how you doing, bro? Thanks for tuning in. But what's your question there? What do you want to know? Have I seen it? No, I haven't seen that particular video. I suppose I could Google it. But what's your point in that? I love the slogan, Make America Great Again. I got a hat that says Make America Great Again. I'm okay with it. It's not racial. It's not even anti-democrat. It's just a slogan, just a theory, just a thought. Let's make America great. He's right. They've been pilfering us, pillaging us right under our noses. Our own Congress. Both parties. They're fucking crooks and criminals. His premise is Trump was a plant. A plant from who? For who? For what? From who? I don't know. I'm still missing your point there, bro. I'm going back to Juneteenth. Because if we make this a holiday where we all celebrate together, follow my logic, and this ain't no virtue signaling. We don't do this for some kind of token bullshit. Do you not see that this is potentially one of the greatest days in our history? And why aren't we fucking celebrating this? It's what separates America from so many other places on earth. Okay, Rick Levin, he's replying to you, Elmo. Even if it's true, who cares? It's called campaigning. It's as adolescent as a child trying to get a class vote by claiming free candy in the machine. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, bro, you can discuss it with me later. No problem. Maybe you can, kind of fine-tune me on that there. I wish I could, kind of focus in on what you're getting at. We could have a good discussion on it because I enjoy the discussions. But I think this is so important. And look, I'm going to put my neck out on a limb here, too. Some of you folks that don't really understand, what Juneteenth is about. June 19th, 1865. And then they go on, by the way, I say they also go on to say how people actually celebrate it, which is kind of fun. And I mean, there were other problems, when they were freed, because hi, Hiriji, thank you for tuning in. There was still a lot of animosity and anger and racism abounding. Tried to make everywhere where black people couldn't congregate. So what they do, they had to go buy like 20 acres and make their own park down there in Galveston so they could have damn celebrations. The Dems back then, the Dems were all about slavery. They were the party of slavery, then they were the party of segregation, then they were party of Jim Crow. Yeah, these fools, they were the Ku Klux Klan. They were the ones keeping people from water fountains. They were against the civil rights movement. Republicans that freed the slaves. I think we're going to have a big year. We're going to get a lot of black folks coming on board. I'm not even a Republican, but I like to see them at least being able to think for themselves and not, toe the line with the Democrat fake promise bullshit and victim culture and fucking, he hates Trump for cutting EPA redundancy. Maybe. Trump's getting rid of a lot of redundancy. That's why the economy is doing so well under him. He's a guy that sheds regulations. He gets things done. No matter what else you think about Trump, the fucking guy gets things done. Now, I wish he would shut the fuck up tweeting. And he is such a braggart. I mean, his ego is so fucking big. It gets tiring after a while to hear how great everything is, But that's just the way he is. Hey, if you can deal with his megalomania and you really know how to handle somebody, you could get him to fucking push anything through that you wanted, even if you were a Democrat. If he saw some way in there to make him look good, and the people wanted what you were selling, he'd be on your side and he'd get it done. That's what I like about him. We got to get things done. We can't agree on every fucking thing. Jeez. Spend your whole life crying. I'm glad I'm not one of the people crying over being offended by syrup. I don't care if they change the name, whatever.
The grandson's pissed off.
Yeah, I heard the grandson of Aunt Jemima is actually pissed because now his grandmother's legacy is, going to be forgotten. This is what they do with the statues, too. Now, listen. You go overseas and you look at organizations, say, like the Taliban, ISIS, the Russians, the Nazis. Before they take over, this is what they do. They try to erase the history that used to be in your mind because they get rid of anything that symbolizes it. And then that when they do that causes chaos. Okay, we don't realize where we came from, so we don't know where the fuck we're supposed to be going, and then they can seep in and impose their socialistic, communistic ideas on us and control us. This is what's going on. It's just
Hi, everybody.
yeah. Hey, Laura says hi. Happy Juneteenth, babe.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I like when they still let me go back to this here. Let's see. So they had to actually build some of their own places to go celebrate. And then it kind of lingered, it waned for a while, and then years later it came back to the forefront. I'm going to say when Martin Luther King had his big march that day, he brought it back to the forefront, okay? And this is another thing, too. Texas was actually the first state to declare Juneteenth a state holiday. So it's a state holiday there. I hear New York is doing that, at least New York City and some other cities now are going to give people a day off with pay to celebrate Juneteenth. This is fantastic. The whole weekend you could do it. I mean, it runs into Father's Day, but, you know, that's not a big deal. Those are 2 happy days. I'm okay with that. Yeah, Antifa equals Nazi brown shirts. You better believe it does, Rick Levin. We'll talk about that if you like to. I don't know how they're letting that shit get so out of control still up there in Seattle. It just rubs me the wrong way. It really does. It's still not a federal holiday, but I swear, I think it should be. Look, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, too. I'm going to tell you something else. Have you seen the Juneteenth flag? Anybody familiar with the flag? Let me find that up here. Let's see. Okay, it's full of symbolism. Now, it's basically, I can describe it to you. I don't have a way to put it out here, but it's split in half, okay? But the half is not straight across. The half has a little bit of an arch. So you get the top is blue, the bottom is red, there's a white star in the middle, and then a star burst in white around that white star, okay? So I want to go down these things right here because like I said, I'm going to go out on a limb here. People might not like this. I'm not for abolishing our current American flag. I love Old Glory. But, you know, over the years, flags evolve. And so Old Glory sort of represents the 13 colonies and the breaking away and the independence of America from, you know, the oppression of the British Empire. But Juneteenth symbolizes the next step in our history, the evolution of the United States of America, when we freed slaves. And we attempted the experiment, we began it, that all men are created equal. The dream that Martin Luther King had, that someday we won't be judged by the color of our skin, but the content of our character. And I understand there's a lot of angst out there right now and anger right now because of police brutality videos. But again, the media is somewhat complicit in this because that's all they show you. I posted one today where it showed a couple black cops killing a white cop. You know what? The guy was resisting. I don't know if he deserved to die, but he was a big fucking guy. And he was resisting. He wouldn't stop. At what point, you can't just let people run amok and do what they want and say, well, you can't kill him over that. All he did was rape the chick. Well, whatever. It's stupid. It makes no sense. And you're never going to get rid of police. Any community, any color, anywhere, face of planet, you got to have policing. There's bad people. I'm sorry. The devil is real. Evil abounds. All right, so look. So the white star in the center of the flag, dual meaning, number one represents Texas, because that's where the announcement was made, that the last remaining enslaved people were free. And it also represents freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. Okay? And now the burst, outlined around the star, inspired by a nova, a term that astronomers use to mean new star. New star, okay? That's what I like. New star, the burst. Okay? And so it represents a new beginning for African Americans in Galveston, Texas, and throughout the land. This is also very cool. I like it. Now, the arc I mentioned in the middle that separates the red and the blue, it represents a new horizon. Also, I love that concept. A new horizon for the United States of America. One that we've been shooting for. One we're trying to live up to. One that's still in our collective minds right now as you see the shit that's going on out there. All pent up. No place to go. We should be having a fucking party this weekend. Celebrating freedom. It's America. Craziness. And then the colors, red, white, and blue. Still got red, white, and blue. Because they felt at the time that it represents the day, let's see. slaves and their descendants were and are Americans. This is beautiful. So I'm almost wanting to push a take on maybe changing our fucking flag. Now, when I say change, I don't mean get rid of the other one, but we could certainly add this one in. You know, it's 2020, people. Okay? We're evolving, we're getting better. It's okay to proclaim it. It's okay to symbolize it. It binds us together. I'm not dismissing history. I'm the last guy. I believe everything should stand. You learn from history. I mean, if you ask me personally, I really don't care if you're getting rid of Democrat statues who represent the Confederacy. I never heard of building statues in the name of losers anyway, but at the same time, if you're bothered by a statue of Christopher Columbus who died, in what? 1500. Yeah, the 1500s, you got a fucking problem. You just got a problem with life in general, okay? You're a victim. I know where you're coming from, but I'm not going there. So, what's your take on this? My question today, yay or nay? Should it at least be a national holiday? Flag question aside, everybody okay with Juneteenth becoming a national holiday? Let me hear from you. Let me hear what you got to say. And okay, let's see North Face, I mentioned this. Pulling ads from Facebook until they censor conservatives. This should concern a lot of people. Okay, because this is not right. I mean, you might like that if you're a lefty. You might like trying to shut people up that you don't want to hear. It's too bad you can't talk anymore because that's their only answer to. I got called a racist today in a bad way. He was a black guy. His only argument was, he's black and I'm not, so I can't speak to racism. I can't speak to it, he says. Michelle Earl, yes, a national holiday. Bingo, there's one right there. Yeah, come on, listen. This is all to my white friends, too, especially. You got a problem with Juneteenth as a national holiday? I'd like to know why. Just a question. So what happens, though, if the tide was turned and you had a conservative company dictating to Facebook saying, we're going to pull our ads until you start silencing those lefties? I got to tell you, listen, I don't really block people because of their ideas. At some point, I might stop engaging if I feel like they don't want to. Some of them, the hate comes out. This guy today, National Holiday Ira Rutledge. Good, thank you, bro. I'm all for it. There's two people. Good, fantastic. I've had some people that's so hateful. Like this guy today, after he made his point about basically he's into the victim culture. I can't possibly, my dick's bigger than yours. I'm more of a victim than you. You can't possibly, anything I say, it doesn't matter. My arguments, and they weren't even arguments. They were I was just trying to let him know I've experienced racism from black people because of how I grew up. So I know how it feels to some degree. Maybe not the way he's feeling it in everyday society, but I still don't like the cops, generally speaking. I'm always worried about the cops pulling me over, but you know what? It's usually because I'm doing something wrong. So, and I would never resist the cops, or I would expect what's coming my way. And I heard some people this all started over a post that had and the funny, same guy that actually started the post, he's a friend of mine. He put one up today that said we used to be able to talk conservatives and liberals, and you can't do that anymore. It's all about you're a racist. And sure enough, a few minutes later, his buddy jumped on it. First he told me I was ignorant and he'd like to school me. And then he told me I was pathetic. And then he called me a fucking racist. And then he said I'm the guy he warns his children about. So that was very hurtful to me. Now, I didn't wish him any harm. I wished him good luck. I told him I understand you got the victim culture mentality, so only you can decide, only you have good ideas about racism, only you can experience the injustice. I know, yeah, I've heard it all before. We talked about this yesterday, right? If you're going to seek justice and social justice, via hatred and violence, when you achieve the justice, all that you're left with is hatred and violence. As opposed to seeking out justice with love and compassion, and then when you get justice, now you're left with love and compassion. It's just day and night. It's as simple as that. All of life is really that simple, really. All right, so we got two people, yes on the national holiday so far. I say yes, that's three of us. I bet you, Laura, you yes for the national holiday? Sure. Laura says, sure. Yes for the national holiday of Juneteenth. So I hope you guys go out tonight and celebrate. Talk to people about it. Let's get the word going out there. And cheers to freeing the slaves and bringing us all closer together and building a better world. And hopefully we can now move past that and beyond that into the next phase of America, which, I don't know what I pray it's not socialism, because that shit just doesn't work. Capitalism is the tide that rises all the boats. It spurs innovation. And now, if there's a downside, some people get left behind. So we have to incorporate into our social fabric means to assist and help some of us. But when you're just mooching off the government, you're just a loser. You're one of those people who's never going to be a victim. You're the perpetual victim or a perpetual student or some lame shit like that, instead of a productive member of society with good ideas to help and love to spread around. This guy also wished that people would fuck my business, so he want my business to suffer. And they're coming after me. Hey, I knew sooner or later when I speak, somebody's going to try to come after me and ruin my life. This is what they do. I'm ready. You don't scare me. I can reinvent myself in a heartbeat, and listen, I got God on my side. I'm still going to do the right thing and speak the truth as I see it. And when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And I'll listen and get some understanding. But I will not be browbeat or feared into being woke. These are nonsense fucking ideas. It's silly. Misguided at the least. All right, who else? Anybody else? Juneteenth, national holiday? What do you think? Give it to me, people. All right, and then, of course, I don't know how North Face is going to get away with doing this. Yeah, national holiday, freedoms, the shit should be enjoyed by all. No one's better than anybody else. Absolutely, Zach Terabellini. And here was today's my buddy. He said, what is all this Juneteenth stuff going on? He didn't know. 30 years on the planet, he says, I didn't know. Now he knows, and he's agreeing. It's freedom. You celebrate freedom. Freedom. I love America. Come on now. Love it. Does that mean we ain't got work to do? That's not what I'm saying. We got problems. Every family has problems. We're a family. We're the best family going, I'm telling you right now. Seen a guy today, black man, he says, listen, there's no better place to be a black man than the United States of America. We got problems, but this is the least racist, best place for opportunities for black people on earth. That includes Africa, which is basically a black continent. But it's the system of government. It's the Constitution. It's the fact that we make slavery illegal, whereas over there's probably still some of it going on. There's a lot of sex trading that people get away with. It's all done by brute force. Don't have a nations of laws like we got. So you got to think about these things, people, before you go knocking statues down. All right, and then, of course, last but not least, the judge that blocked the Democrats. I guess there was a couple of lawyers down there in Oklahoma that tried to say that they were acting in the public's best interest and that that he shouldn't have a rally because it's going to spread the COVID virus. All of a sudden, the COVID virus, is amazing how smart that fucking virus is, man. And then I saw the CNN crew, today try to pummel the press secretary with, are you going to be there? You going to wear a mask? Is anybody going to wear a mask? Who's wearing masks? What are they doing? Listen, there's a reason no one listens to you fools from the National Institute of Health anymore. Okay? You hear Dr. Fauci saying, we have a, what did he say? America has a culture of anti-science bias. Well, let's see. You mean the guy that said you don't wear a mask? Well, you don't have to wear a mask, right? Right, that guy? You talking about that guy? The guy who said you got to watch out, you got to clean the surfaces, but wait a minute, no, it doesn't really spread on surfaces. Is that the guy you're talking about? The guy that said, we need social distancing, but you can go out and do a protest, but just think about the way this whole thing has been presented. And all the states that are still shut down, they're all Democrat states, by the way. Every last one of them. These guys are fools, crushing their people, oppressing them. They add the flame to the fire. That's why they're rioting, looting. They got no money. Nobody's got a fucking job to go back to. It's amazing, though, isn't it? Okay, explain to me how that fucking virus, it can spread on a bank teller. I mean, it can't spread on a bank teller or cashiers touching money, stores when you go in, exchange cash. But for some reason, they had to close down fast food restaurants. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Right? How come it's okay mass protests in the street, but not okay mass Trump rally? That doesn't seem to make sense. How was it that small businesses seemed to transmit the fucking COVID, so they had to be shut down, but Walmart was fine, Costco's okay, Albertsons is good? Can you explain these scientific discrepancies that I'm getting at right here? You see what I'm saying? It's silly. So, we don't have an anti-science bias. We have an anti-idiot detector. That's what we got, Fauci. Kiss my ass. All right, well, look, my time is up. Happy Juneteenth, all you people. I hope we make it a national holiday soon. I think it's important for us to do that. Enjoy your Father's Day weekends. I hope you guys got some great plans. My daughter sent me some coffee from back east. I'm looking forward to, we're almost out of coffee, so I'm looking forward to trying that out. I have to get her out a thank you here tomorrow, the next day as well. Love you all. Listen, while you're inside the box, I want you to think outside the box. Okay, and be good to each other. That's important. And remember, we all make choices. We just got to live with them. Have a great weekend.